Yeah, we are live.
It's 11 o'clock, November 14th, Children's Day. Happy Children's Day, everyone. Children young, children old, children at heart. Welcome to a new series from HBCSE, Steamboat. Let me tell you a little bit more. And for that, let me quickly share something. We let that play one more time. So, happy Children's Day. And for those who are watching perhaps for the first time and don't know what HBCSE is, we are the Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, a national center of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, located in Mumbai, where we work on both equity and excellence in all aspects of science education. Now, science education obviously has got broader and broader across with time. And we started with science. Obviously, from there, we moved to maths and science and technology. Then it became STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And now it's STEAM. So what's the A? The A is A for arts. And you're wondering, arts in the middle of science and technology? Now, don't we just separate everything out into science, commerce, arts, and these people are mixing it? Yes. Yes, because science and technology can't, we are part of society, society as a whole, right? And science and society are connected, and this connection is made so much more wholesome, so much better when we include the world of the arts. And these arts can be literary, could be performing arts, could be, all kinds of arts. All kinds of arts. Imagine if you're a baker, you're baking beautiful cakes. There's chemistry connected to it in baking. You're a web designer. You want to make something that looks good. You need to have the artistic input into what your user interface is going to look like. So you cannot pretty much today separate any stream of STEM from the arts. And hence, we would like to feel that all these are actually creative endeavors of mankind, right? And in this creative endeavors, most of the fun is at the edges, at the interdisciplinary interfaces between these different branches, and hence STEAM. And we thought, let's bring you Steamboat, which is going to be exciting stories from the world of STEAM every second Sunday of the month. Right now we are online, we're live, and we hope you'll be joining us on an interesting voyage through the months. And we're doing this not just in English, but after the session is over later on, we will also release these videos in other Indian languages as well. So we're trying to be having fun in the world of STEAM. And today, let's start off with, first, of course, I should thank, it's not just, there are a lot of people behind this to try and get this together, whole team of people who work to bring you this. And as we add more episodes, there are going to be a lot of people behind the scenes. So thank you all. Thank you here. And now let's get to today's topic, which is on the superb spiders, Super Silk. And before I hand it over to Suravi, I thought I should give you a very brief introduction to our speaker for today. So Suravi is a postdoc at HBCSE. She comes to us all the way from Assam, and Suravi has been interested in nature right from when she was young. This meant that she landed up doing a BSc in zoology, following it up with an MSc and a PhD in environmental sciences. And she's very concerned about wetlands and all kinds of environmental issues, and obviously loves creatures big and small. She'd love to be a writer. She loves movies. And if you love movies, well, how can you not like Spider-Man and spiders? So that's the topic for her today. So without further ado, let me hand you over to Suravi. Suravi, all yours. I'm going to remove the spotlight and put it on you now. So you will be spotlighted. and you can share your screen and go ahead. So, by the way, remember people, we are unfortunately, thanks for this pandemic, we are online, and but we still want to interact with you. So remember, the only way you can reach out to us is via chat. So please put your questions and answers in the chat box, right? And we'll try and take them as soon as we can, and definitely after the talk is over. So let's get started.
So hi everyone, happy Children's Day to all. I hope I'm audible to everyone. And let me share my screen right now. Arnav, is it visible?
I can see it.
Okay.
Have the YouTube issues been resolved? I hope it's live on YouTube. Suravi had asked a question in the middle, but I couldn't respond to that.
I think it's working, I suppose.
Okay, lovely. Lovely. So in which case, let's go ahead. The superb spiders, super silk.
Okay. So I'll remind everybody once again to put up your comments, your questions on the chat box, whether on Zoom or on the YouTube channel. And so let us start. So as you know, I'm Suravi, and as Arnav said, I'm a great cinema lover, and my particular interest is in the genre of science fiction. And when we talk about science fiction, we all know there are some superhumans are there in the movie world too. And who doesn't love superheroes, right? And we wish, that I wish like I had powers like some superhumans at least. And one of my favorite superhuman is Wonder Woman. And you can put up your favorite superhumans as well, like on the chat boxes if you want. But I mean, this Wonder Woman, this lady, she belongs to a fictional Amazon island, okay? And where she's been given powers by the Greek gods. So obviously having powers like Wonder Woman is not possible for me because, I belong to this the so-called planet called Earth, where I have been born and brought up as such. And having said that, one of the superhero, that is the Spider-Man, keeps my hope alive of having powers like him someday. You know why? Because Spider-Man was a human and then he later turned it into a superhuman. So let me brush up your memories about the movie a bit. So the 2012 movie, The Amazing Spider-Man, it is about a protagonist named Peter Parker. Now, Peter Parker, he is an orphan and the protagonist is a science whiz. And once on his visit to a lab, he is accidentally bitten by a genetically modified spider. So here what happens, this causes Peter Parker to, gain amplified athletic abilities like super strength, like that of a spider, then sharp senses and reflexes, like again that of a spider. And in the movie, you'll see that Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he builds up a gadget, a web shooter, which makes him or which allows him to shoot different webs according to his wishes, wherever, whenever he wanted. And you will see in the movie that he jumps from great heights very efficiently, carrying his own weight or the weight of another person using those webs, which is exactly like that of a spider, which uses its web, for different purposes. Now, my question is, do you think that the bite of a spider can cause such great genetic changes? I mean, again, you can put up your thoughts, your views on the chat box. Well, a bite of a spider cannot cause such great genetic changes. Okay, so that is the fictional part of this movie. But the web shooter, which like Spider-Man or the Peter Parker, develops, it's something which we can think of like we may have it in the future, because all over the world, people and scientists, researchers, whether in laboratories, in the institutes, or in the industries, they are trying to understand the behavior of the spiders, the structure of the spider cell, the properties of the spider cell, etc.
Survi,
yeah,
we've started talking about Spider-Man, spider silk, spider things. Maybe we should just check na apna audience ko kitna pata hai spiders ke bare mein. Let's just do a little poll, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's just check it.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
So you know what, audience, let's do a small poll. and let's ask some simple questions. I will of course put the questions in the chat box as well. There are 3 questions in this poll. If you're on Zoom, you can enter it. I will put the questions on, or somebody, can you, I can't put the chat. So HBCSE, can you put the questions in the chat as well? Question 1 is very simple. Do you like spiders? Yes or no? Question 2 is, of course, how many legs does a spider have? How many legs does a spider have? And question 3 is, how many antennae does a spider have? Sar ke upar, antennae does a spider have? So your choices are, of course, you can you can say, yes, I like spiders. No, I don't like spiders. I actually prefer Spider-Man. There were 3 choices. And how many legs does a spider have? The choices are 4, 6, 8, and depends if it got injured in a fight. That's also an option. And how many antennae does a spider have? Choices are none, 1, 2, or 4. So if you're on Zoom, you can put it in. I hope somebody's putting the questions in the YouTube window as well. And let's see if we can. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Somebody has put in the things on YouTube. Yes, so let's see. And how are the other questions? Are you putting in the other questions of how many legs does a spider have? Are people putting it on chat? Okay, so let's go back. Okay, I think we've done about a minute and a half. Let's end the poll and see the results. Okay, so interestingly, we seem to have a split between people who like and dislike spiders. It's almost half, equal number of people who like and dislike. A small number like Spider-Man. How many legs does a spider have? Okay, a majority people think 8 legs. Is that correct? Some people say 6, and some people say it depends if it got injured in a fight, which is of course correct. But but most people seem to have 8. Is that correct, Suravi?
Yes, yes.
Okay, 8 legs is correct. And how many antennae does spider have? Oh, the most people think that and yeah, even looking at the answers on the chat, most people think it's 2 antennae. A smaller group think that it doesn't have antennae at all. So, Survi, what do we do here? It looks like a tie between no antennae and 2 antennae.
So I think people want the antennae for the spider. So let me tell it. So before we proceed to the session, we need to remember that spiders have 8 legs. They do not have antennae. And the most important thing is that spiders are not insects. These are animals. And they belong to a special class within the phylum Arthropoda. And this class is known as Arachnida. And spiders belong to the order Araneae. So the class Arachnida also includes other animals like the scorpions are there, the mites are there, the ticks are there, so etc. etc. So can I move on, Anand?
Yeah. I think you should move on.
Okay.
At least we know. I think people. There's a lot of interest in spiders, certainly.
Okay. So before we move on, I would like to tell folks once again that keep on, giving your thoughts and your questions on the chat box, and do remain glued to the screen, because in between the sessions, we will be having some more exciting and fun quiz questions on spiders, obviously. So moving on. Okay. So these are some beautiful pictures of spiders, which I hope you can see it on your screen. And these pictures were, taken by one of our STEAMBOAT member, Aditi Muralidharan. She recently visited the northeastern part of India, and there she collected these beautiful pictures of spiders, where you can see the spiders are at work. One has constructed its spider web already. One is eating its prey. Others are waiting for their prey. And so moving on. So we often tend to, tag these words with spiders whenever we see a spider or whenever we talk about a spider, right? But have you ever wondered, how spider builds its web, or why it builds its web, So here, spiders they build their webs for different purposes, like to trap their food, then again for multiplying, and obviously for housing or for their own protection, right? But again, there are some spiders which are called as the cytodes. Now, what does the cytodes do? They do not build webs at all. Instead, what they do is that whenever they see a potential prey, they spit a sticky venomous substance and stick their prey to a surface. All right. So now, Arnab, do you know like what are spiders most famous for?
I don't know. They bit Peter Parker and made him Spider-Man.
No, not exactly that. But yeah, audiences, do you have any idea like what are spiders famous for? Like, I think my screen is already, I think, hinting, giving you guys all a hint. So yeah, so spiders, they can produce silk, and they are unique because they can spin silk. And there are different designs of webs that spider can create. Now, what are these different designs of web that spiders create? So it varies from a complex orb structure, which you can see right now, to tangle form or even a simple sheet form. And there are others too. And the reason behind creating such different designs of webs by different spiders is because of their habit and habitat, where they live. Like if they live underwater, they'll be building a different type of web. If they live on a tree, they'll again have a different type of webs. And on the basis of these designs of the webs, even the spiders are classified. Now, let me take an example of this funnel web spider here. So this spider is very aggressive in nature, and it is mostly found in Australia. And here you can see that it actually hides itself inside a hollow thing inside, and it waits for its prey, And like whenever it can feel a vibration on its web, it immediately comes out and attack its prey to eat it up. So let's come to exciting picture here. So this is a picture of a spider. So can you all guess like which spider is this? You can put up your answers on the chat box again. Sorry. Anybody, any guesses? Are there any answers? Like, I don't know like exactly. Like, Arnav, are there answers there?
Let me just check.
Yeah,
I just
sure.
put the question in the YouTube as well. Okay, yeah, there are lots of answers. Shivani, Himanshika, Soham, Arvind, Deepto, everybody's saying Black Widow.
Oh, that's right. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's saying Black Widow. Oh, somebody says female Black Widow. Even better.
Okay. Right.
Even
yeah,
better.
Even better. So, like, any idea why is it called Black Widow again? Let me answer it. Obviously, it's black in color. I don't know like whether it somehow has answered or not. And obviously, because it eats up its mate. So, like Black Widow. So it's like, yeah. So, yeah. So moving on. So
I think we should just, people are asking widow why. So maybe you should just clarify that.
Okay, widow why?
After mating, it actually eats the male.
Yes, that's the reason.
Male.
That's
the male is actually very tiny, no?
Yeah, it's comparatively tiny than the female one.
Yeah. And the female just eats him up.
Yeah, the female just eats it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so moving on. So like we saw like there are different designs of web. So obviously this makes sense that there must be like different kinds of silk. So what are those silk like? So do you like to try like what are the different kinds of silk? Arnab,
so how many? I mean, let's see how many different kinds of silk, right?
Yeah.
Does a spider make? Does a spider make only one kind of silk, or That's the put it in your chat. Put it in the chat. How many different types of spider silk are there? Do you think there's like just one type of silk, or like 5 types of silk, 100 types of silk? What is it? And just spider silk, huh? Not all this silkworm silk and muga silk and tasar silk and all those are different silks. Okay, we are talking only of spiders right now.
Right.
Okay. All right. The chat is popping away, and there are numbers between 5 and 10, and 7 seems to be dominating.
Okay. So let me answer that then. So there are 7 kinds of silk, like generally in most of the spiders, and these silk are like, flagelliform silk or the pyriform silk or the aggregate silk and major ampulate and minor ampulate silk. And the purpose behind so many silk is that, spiders, the pyriform is used as like a double tape for, sticking to a surface and then sticking its other silk to that very silk. And then to trap a prey, it's using, the flagelliform silk. And obviously, when spiders not only, feeds or like use silk for making its house, but also for transportation, right? So there is this major ampulate silk that is generally used even for transportation. That is the dragline silk is there. And the aggregate silk, which you can see on the screen, actually helps the spider to stick its prey to the web. There is also a cylindriform silk, which allows the spider to protect its egg, like for the egg casing. There is the aciniform silk for wrapping its prey. Yeah. So now that we know that spiders' silk, different silks are there. So obviously the silk are being produced by something, right? So it is being produced by glands, and there are different silks. So again, there are different glands for each type of silk. So on your screen, you can see that these glands have been represented by different colors, and these glands are present in hundreds and thousands of numbers. Okay, so now since we know that this silk is being produced by different glands and by this hundreds and thousands of glands, so then how exactly a spider is producing the silk? So what exactly happens is that the silk glands which are present in the abdomen of the spider, let me use a pointer here, like, yeah. So the silk glands are present in the abdomen of the spider, right? And this silk secreting units, it somehow somewhat resembles the stomach of the humans, but let's not mislead ourselves. So this is the silk secreting unit, and when the spider, secretes its silk inside its body, it is initially it's in the form of a liquid solution. So that liquid solution, let me again remove the pointer. Okay, so so exactly, just give me a second. Sorry, guys. Okay. I think I'm having some problem.
Suravi, you're in presenter mode. Get out of presenter mode.
Yeah, sure. Like
hide presenter view, or just start again.
Yeah, is it okay?
Yeah, this is fine. Just go ahead from here.
Okay. I'm sorry again. So yeah, so I was telling this key, the solution, it passes to the different parts of the silk secreting unit, and when it passes to the different silk secreting unit, and when it reaches the the tapering duct area, it undergoes different physical and chemical stimuli or like stress, and because of that, the solution is converted into a solid fiber form. And so here is again a picture there on your screen. So this diagram, the horizontal diagram, shows exactly the difference in the change of the solution to a fiber form because of the different stimuli, as I said, like now. And these are these solutions, I mean, these glands are actually connected to, at the rear end of the spider, it's connected to a special organ, which is known as spinnerets. Now, spinnerets are the organs which are also, which are like spinning organs of the spider. And these are, when we like magnify it, you will see here, this is actually a pair of spinnerets, which you can see on your screen. And this is that of a black widow spinnerets. And this spinnerets, actually, each of the spinnerets have, again, multiple spigots. Spigots is like, it'll look like this. So spigots are tubular structures which are there on the spinnerets that acts like a tap, or let's say that acts like a faucet for releasing of the spider silk when, into the environment. So obviously, now what is this silk made up of? Now this spider silk is made up of silk protein. So when I say these are made up of silk protein, so what is silk protein? So you guys all, I mean, you all know that proteins are made up of like, amino acids, right? So the spider silk protein is known as spidroin, and it is made up of amino acids, mostly alanine and glycine. So, but like the spiders, it also uses some other compounds, on its web, so that, to enhance the webs, in a sense that to protect its web. Like, for example, there is a compound called as spirulidine, which keeps the web of the spiders moist. Okay, it doesn't allow the web to get dry. And also it acts as a deterrent. It keeps away the ants away from its web. And there are also some another compound, like for example, potassium hydrogen phosphate. Now this keeps the web acidic enough to keep it away from fungal and bacterial attacks. Okay, so moving on. So right now you can see a very exciting spider picture. So does this like, reminds you of something? Hello, everyone. Like, does this reminds you of something? You can put up your you can put up your thoughts on the chat box. Let me give you a hint.
Maybe give them a hint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them a hint.
Oh yeah, we have an answer itself.
But let's give people a hint. Let's give people a hint.
So the hint is it's quite a popular series, or it was quite a popular book series and a movie series. In like back in 2015 or 2012, as far as I remember. And this looks like it belongs to a wizard world.
Okay, I think we should just tell them, think Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Think Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Does this remind you of something from Harry Potter? Somebody says Dumbledore. Sorting hat. Exactly.
Right,
Somebody's got the sorting hat. Excellent. Okay, go ahead, Suravi.
So this is
sorting hat. Now we are getting, the witch hat thing. Exactly. Sorting hat.
So so this looks like the sorting hat, and thus it was named as the Godric Defender spider. And this was, you'll be surprised, it was discovered in Karnataka, and it was discovered in 2015. So let's move on then. Now that we have come to know about a little bit about webs, then a little bit about the silk types, now let us understand a bit about the spider silk properties. And when we talk about spider silk properties, the most common property which we generally observe is its adhesive property, right? I mean, spiders can adhere it can stick its web anywhere, everywhere, whether it's the house, whether it's the walls or the trees, for different purposes, right? And spiders' silk is also known for its biocompatible, and biodegradable property. These spiders' silk are known to show no immune response reactions in different experiments. And that is why the spider silk is being considered right now as a popular or a favorable material in the medical field for making band-aids. So in future, you will be using band-aids of spider silk, and also for suture material, like as in for stitching, Now coming to some of the mechanical properties like strength, extensibility, toughness, density. Now, let me again remind you all that in physics, though we generally tend to use strength and toughness quite often synonymously, strength and toughness are different. But do not worry about it. We can explain to you later, like you can ask me questions later in the end of the session. But to just understand these three mechanical properties, let us take this. Let us do an experiment. Let us take some diameter of like some of silk strands of spiders, and same diameter. Let us take a steel wire. Okay. Now we are adding. I mean, we are attaching. I mean, we are putting two buckets or two containers in the end of these both materials. And now let us start filling water in this. So you can see the strands are in both the materials are extending because under the weight of the water, I mean the container having the water. And when we keep on adding water, you'll be surprised that the steel wire, it straps off, right? And we keep on adding water and you'll be surprised that the spider silk strand could, almost contain twice the amount of water which the steel wire could. Now, the strength of this spider, like to carry on or to bear that weight of the container, is what is known as tensile strength in very simple terms. So here, spider silk is outperforming steel, and in this experiment, you could see that the spider silk was extending, it was stretching, even the steel wire was stretching, but the spider silk strand could stretch more. So it is more extensible than the steel wire, obviously. And both these properties, that is the tensile strength and the extensibility, is what is known as toughness. That is the ability not to, to keep on bearing that energy of force, before it breaks off. That is what its toughness is. So moving on. Another exciting property of spider is its density. Like for example, it's low density, obviously. So like imagine you are on a plane, you are taking a strand and you are trying to encircle around the earth. So what do you think? What will be the weight of that? What will be the mass of that strand? Can you guess? If you just encircle completely around the earth, what will be the mass of that strand? Any guesses, guys?
Like, just think, is it going to be, 100 kilos, 1 ton, 1 gram? How heavy do you think it is? You take spider silk, go all around the world with it.
Do we have any answers?
Somebody says 1 gram, 20 grams, only one round. Yes, only one round.
Only one round.
Only one round around the earth. Yes. Okay, is there anything on YouTube? Give it a minute. Half a gram, 1 gram.
Right. So let me
20 grams, 5 grams, yeah, 3 grams.
Okay. But people are like, at least, they're correct, like it's in gram.
But just 10 kilos. Okay. Somebody says 10 kilos, somebody says 1 kilo. Okay, we're getting 1 ton now. Somebody's changing their answers also. 30 grams. All right, let's see what's happening on YouTube. YouTube says 10 kilos, 1 kg, 1 ton. Okay, I think we're covering all orders of magnitude here. So we've gone from 1 gram to 1 ton. So I think you should give them the answer.
The answer is, 500 grams. So somebody, I think, gave half a gram, I suppose. I remember that. So yeah, that's the correct answer.
Half a gram, 500, not half a kilo. It was half a gram they gave.
Oh,
so it's 500
half
grams.
A gram. Okay,
yeah.
Not a half a kilo. Okay, right. So yeah, my mistake. So we have, the spider silk is again, it shows a quite resistance towards temperature difference. Like it can retain its elasticity even at minus 40 degrees centigrade. And even at 220 degrees centigrade, just imagine 220 degrees centigrade, it can still retain its strength. Okay. Now coming to one of the most exciting property of spider silk, that is supercontraction. Now, what is supercontraction? When you take a spider strand, and if you put it in water, that strand will just shrink in its half of its length, so 50% of its length. Now, what researchers are thinking is that they can use this property to make actuators, like a device for helping in movement, So if in futures, people can come up with such material of, controlling the humidity and temperature, then they can come up with exciting artificial muscles and robots and micro machines with this supercontraction property. So now we have seen that there are different properties and there are different silk. And these all properties can be seen in different types of silk, okay? But these properties, they vary in degree in different silk. Like for example, the dragline silk, which is generally used by a spider to carry its weight, is more stronger, and it has a lot of stiffness in it. But when we talk about the flagelliform silk, it is more extensible, just to bear the energy with which a prey hits that web, okay? And not only that, on each day, the same spider who is like, exuding this, who is releasing this silk, may again have these properties in varying degree depending upon the humidity, the temperature of that day. So each day, these properties per degree can vary. Now, coming to some applications part of this spider silk. Spider silk have been in use from very ancient times. So the Greeks were known to use it for wound healing, and some indigenous people used it as fishing lines. And you'll be surprised that in the World War II, it was used as a crosshair in the optical instruments. Even in the modern world, we use the spiders for different medical, there are researchers for different medical, military, and consumer goods. When I say consumer goods, not like textiles or for other consumer goods as well, even for like bulletproof jackets, these are under research. And one of the spider species which is quite popular is the golden silk orb weaver. In India, one of the orb weaver spider which you can find is the giant wood spider, which I forgot to point out, but like one of the pictures which is shared from Aditi's shared pictures from the northeastern region. So there is the giant wood spider. Now, this is a beautiful golden cloth which you can see on your screen. Now, this is surprisingly made up of spider. And this was a project which was started by one of the textile engineer and a fashion designer, Simon Pearce and Nicholas Godley. And they in their project they had 70 people who were collecting spiders for 4 years, and they had collected 1 million spiders to make this entire piece of cloth. Now, this means, do we keep on collecting spiders each time we want a piece of cloth for ourselves? Or can we start rearing them? Like we have poultry farms or we have cattle farms. Can we rear spiders? Well, the answer is we cannot rear spiders because these are predatory and cannibalistic in nature. That is, whenever you put too many spiders together, they end up eating each other. Okay. So what is the options? What are the options like to use spiders? Like how do we then, have those spider silk from the spiders? So one option could have been, chemically synthesizing them in the labs. But again, even though we have so much information about the proteins and the sequences or about the amino acids, still we have that information is very limited for a chemical synthesis in the lab. So another viable option is like genetic engineering. So right now, the research on production of spider silk-like properties or for producing artificial spider silk, we have two different, it is bifurcated. One is like the popular is genetic engineering. Other is like, enhancing human-made materials which can mimic the properties of spiders. So in genetic engineering, what is happening? People are genetically modifying the genetic materials of some organisms and are producing artificial spider proteins and then producing spider silk from those proteins. So let us learn a little bit about how this genetic engineering technology is working. So what is happening is that from the genetic makeup of a spider, a gene sequence, a DNA sequence is taken and that DNA sequence is transferred to the genetic material of another organism. Let's not get into too much of the details. And then when it is introduced, this new whatever the new gene has, the genetic material has been made up, that is being introduced into different kinds of animals like bacteria, yeast, silkworms. And this is just like to be very, to make it simplified, this is just like, transferring your SIM card with information from one mobile to another mobile. And people are using this technology to create the, clothing, particularly in the textile industry. So after creating or after producing the silk proteins in these different organisms, now the question comes how to convert this protein into fibers. That means we need a spinneret, the spinning organ, just like that of a spider. So people have come up with artificial spinning techniques, okay, that has the ability to convert this protein into fiber form. But here you can see some of the examples, like this are some of the products which Ball Thread, which is a company, they come up with this beautiful, goods, this beautiful clothings. So we can say that genetic engineering is one of the popular methods for, producing proteins in bulk amount. But there are certain limitations again, that is, the artificial silk which is produced using these proteins are very simpler in structure. And what is happening because of that is that, and also they are not only simpler in structure, they are also lower in quality as compared to the natural spider silk, and they have less flexibility and extensibility than this natural spider silk. So although we have come up, all the people have come up with different artificial spinning techniques, but this is not as efficient as the spider's spinning organ. So the cons are like, because not only it degrades the protein quality or the quality of the fiber, there is high cost, there is toxic solvents which are being used, and obviously they have to manage the waste and the byproducts that are being produced in this entire process. Other than also there's time demanding, and they require high energy. So there is another field like where people are actually using hybrid technology. That is like they are using two different parent materials, like they are taking spider silk and they are taking some nanomaterials which may be organic or inorganic, and they're mixing it together to make materials which have enhanced properties of both this parent material. So this is like, scientists, a group of scientists, they came up with this unique breeding solution where they put up some materials into the water, and they fed it to the spiders. And the strands or the silk which was produced by these spiders had 3 times the strength and 10 times the toughness of the original spider silk. So now that we are talking about feeding the spiders, now obviously in nature, spiders, they hunt, right? So there is this picture of Bagheera Kiplingi, which you can see on your screens. But what is so unique about this Bagheera Kiplingi? Can you guess why Bagheera Kiplingi is different from other spiders?
Also, where does the name Bagheera Kiplingi come from?
Oh yeah, that too.
Certainly if you were in school, you would know Bagheera Kiplingi. You can guess where the name comes from.
Yeah.
And yes, Jungle Book is right. Jungle Book is right. Yeah, but the main question was, what is so special about this spider? And remember, she just told you about they were trying to make spiders eat something to make stronger silk, and also it's something about what it eats.
What it eats, right?
Yes, its color, of course, is very nice. Many people are saying its color looks very nice and royal. That's correct. It's a beautiful spider. It's from Kipling's Jungle Book. That is correct. No, it's not the color. It's not the color. It's something about what it eats.
What it eats.
It's very different from other spiders.
Do we have any answers on the YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me just check the YouTube channel. The Jungle Book, what is special about the spider? People are saying the color is special. The color is special. Okay, I think Suravi, you should give them the answer. Maybe.
Okay, the answer is, it is most of its food, it's vegetarian. That is, almost 75% of what it eats, scientists have found out to be, it to be herbivorous. So it feeds on plants, obviously.
And most
And
spiders don't, right? Most
most
spiders
spiders don't. Yeah,
are
most of them
hunters.
are
They eat.
carnivores.
Yeah. And
But
this is a vegetarian spider.
and it's a jumping spider. And let me tell you one more fact, that most of the jumping spiders are actually, they have a vegetarian diet. But it's not that they do not eat, other animals. They do, but they prefer the, being herbivore. So again, so Kiplingi, as you guys, you guessed it right, that it's from Rudyard Kipling's name, and Bagheera is one of the character in Jungle Book. That is the Black Panther, which was there. So Bagheera is that character. So moving on. So now coming to the human-made materials. So in this polymer engineering field, people are trying to mimic the properties of spider silk to produce different products. Okay, so people have come up with a hydrogel material and they are creating it at room temperature so that later it can be used for making different commercial products like whether parachutes or bulletproof jackets or like helmets, etc., etc. But so having said that, till now, we have realized that the spider silk is neither the most elastic material nor the most strongest material, but it has a unique combination of both these properties, which is making the spider silk very, very, very unique in the world. And obviously, other than that, it is producing these silk within its ambient, within its body temperature, within its body pressure, and without using any corrosive acids. So yes, till now you have, I hope that you could, you could appreciate the fictional part of the movie and the, whatever the science part is there in it too. And obviously Spider-Man's gadget, where he's producing that, he's making that gadget, is way ahead of our technology, where Spider-Man is also making that silk solution. And not only that, he is in the, if you like ever get to read the Marvel comics, you'll see that he is producing ice webs, he's creating magnetic webs, he's creating fire webs. So let us wait and watch like how much time we take up to catch up with the Spider-Man's gadget. And some of you who are still yet to go into your definite careers, who knows, like you may get into this field of material science, where you'll get into this spider silk research, because there's still a lot of there to be unraveled about the protein structure, the amino acid sequences, and obviously the entire anatomy of there within the spiders itself to create artificial spider in future. So this is our Steamboat. So this is Steamboat members. I would like to thank them for their help. Also, some of my friends and my family members who are constantly giving their reviews on the entire video. You can reach out to us at HBCSE Steamboat mail ID, which I have been given here, and also you can write it to me. Thank you so much for giving your attention to us, and you can put up your questions, your comments on the chat box. Thanks. Over to you, Arnav.
Great. I hope I certainly learned a lot about spiders. I hope you also found something exciting in this. And I am sure you have lots of questions. Yes, so please do put your questions in the chat box or the Q&A, and I will try and go through them and ask the questions to Suravi one by one. So yeah, let's give it a minute. And Suravi, maybe you need not show this slide while we are doing Q&A.
Okay, then I'll stop sharing it.
So yeah, so there are questions coming in both on the Q&A and the chat, and let's start from the beginning. There are also questions on YouTube. Let's go to let me keep both windows open if I can, adjust them so that both windows I can see the questions. So we'll see what questions come there. Okay, so let's start with a very simple one. Pragya wants to know, do spiders sting?
Do spiders?
Sting, like a bee. Does it sting?
Okay, so spiders,
or do they bite? Do they bite?
We actually use the word bite. Yeah, most of the spiders, they bite because they are carnivorous. And but one exciting thing is that even though they bite, most of the spiders have this venomous gland in them. But they don't. But not all spiders uses it. And some spiders are very venomous that are very harmful to humans, like the black widow. But other than that, most of the spiders, even though if they have this venomous gland, it's not that harmful for humans. But yeah, for their prey it is. And so the more than sting, the term is bite, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, and let me hop over to YouTube for a question. And this is a very interesting question from Rajagopal, who says, if other insects are getting trapped in the spider web, how come the spider doesn't get trapped in its own web?
Oh, nice. So actually, like, when you put a trap for somebody, you exactly know where to step in, right? So spiders have that thing. They know exactly where to step in. And, when they weave their entire web, they make it sure, where after making the entire frame, then they very tactfully put those aggregate silk on the entire web, just for the prey. So, and they have this long, you have seen spiders' legs, right? They are long. And so they uses those legs very efficiently to move in around their entire web. And so they do not get trapped. I mean, they do not get trapped in their own web. Yeah, that's nice.
That's a nice question, though. Okay. All right. Shivani wants to know why do spiders not have antennae? How do they sense?
How do they sense? Okay, so we know, like, till now we discussed the spiders have 8 legs, okay, but they have 2 more. I mean, I don't know the exact words what to use, but they have 2 appendages even in front of, like, in their anterior area, which is like generally used as it works like a, it works like an antennae, but it's not exactly an antennae. But yeah, there are two more appendages like in front of the spiders, like near its the first 2 legs.
Okay, so you've told us about making spider silk artificially.
Yeah.
Right. Himanshika wants to know, can you make a spider web artificially?
Spider web artificially? Well, I do not have that answer, but yes, the question is quite interesting. I'll search for it. I'll get back to you. Like, yeah, Himanshika, you can put up your question on the email as well.
Right.
Like, you can write to us. I'll obviously search it and I'll try to reply back to you.
Okay. Pragya is asking about these golden spiders, the golden orb weavers. Do they naturally secrete golden silk, and why?
Again, I
can help with this one actually. If you
fine, you can go ahead.
So yes, actually the golden orb spiders are called golden orb spiders because their webs are not golden but maybe yellowish, and it is because so the silk they make is yellow because they somehow secrete yellow colored molecules. These are called carotenoids. The same carrot mein jo molecules, those are the same carotenoid molecules. They secrete these molecules in the silk. Now, why? Apparently, people really don't know. I mean, we can't ask the spider, why are you making a yellow web? But people have many theories about why are these webs colorful. It seems that the yellow, wherever these orb spiders are, there are also bees around there, and it helps them trap the bees. The bees go for these yellow things. So it's something that is developed over time, in evolution. So it's not just for fun. I mean, they do have a yellow web because it's useful for them to trap their prey. Okay, let's see. All right, now this getting stuck in the web seems to be going along. So now you just told them that the spider knows where to go, and the different silks, and it won't get trapped in its own web. Can a spider get trapped in another spider's web?
Yeah, that is possible.
That's possible.
The spiders, large spiders do feed on smaller spiders. So, that's interesting. But spiders do hunt like other spiders. As I said, they are carnivorous, but can they? Like, my own experience, I have seen spiders getting stuck in other spiders' webs. Like, but why it happens, I haven't given a thought yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I have seen that. Yeah.
All right. So there are. That's an interesting question from Vijay saying, how many eyes do spiders have and what kind of eyes do spiders have?
Okay, so spiders have from 6 to 8 eyes, and they are arranged in rows, anterior and like, I think I could have, like, even in Aditi's picture there, you could, if I would have zoomed in, you could have seen that, like 4, it has 8 eyes and it's like placed in this manner, 4 here and 4 are just in the back of the front 4 eyes. And that is because spiders, like they cannot move. They do not have a neck. They cannot move around. But to hunt, they need so many eyes, and that is like a part of evolution, I suppose. So they have 8 eyes, 6 to 8 eyes.
Okay, let me go back to Zoom. There's a nice question from Sagar who's asking, how does a small spider eat big insects? Sometimes the insect that gets trapped on the web is a big insect. So what does a spider do?
Actually, spiders do not exactly, they do not eat up the entire, animal. What it does is actually it sucks in the, it sucks in the required, it sucks in the liquid from those animals. And so it kills it using obviously its venom, and then it sucks in the animal's liquid. Whatever the liquid thing is there in the animal, it sucks in those things. So I think that is why it can even feed up on large animals. I hope I'm correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Even like I would like even audiences, like if you know the answers in the chat box, you can also keep answering those answers. So this
Yes. So actually, we do have a response to the making artificial webs thing. Somebody apparently has tried it, and so there's a question about this thing you said, these spider silk contracts in water. What exactly happens?
So we have a question, I suppose Purvanjali is asking.
Yeah. How does Ria is asking, how does spider silk contract?
So can spiders web sustain? Is that question that like?
No. So this is a different question. This is from Ria. How does spider silk contract? It's one of the older questions. I've just copied some of them out.
So I believe like, and would you like to answer that? Like, how does it contract?
I don't quite know how it contracts, but most likely, see, these are proteins which they interact with water. Proteins have ends which can sort of like water. They probably form hydrogen bonds. They get together. They can shrink. Many changes can happen. I really don't know, but we can find out the answer to this.
Purvanjali is asking, like, can spiders web sustain the water droplets?
Yeah, you mean, is the water droplet very heavy? No, you can even hang a pen sometimes from a web. The web is very strong. So the water droplet, yes, it just, in the morning you'll see the dewdrops on the web. So it's there. Okay, there are some questions earlier which were on the chat. I think maybe you might want to do this, how the silk is made, very briefly one more time, because there are a couple of things, questions on how this thing, was the spider silk a liquid? I think people, the part where you said it, the liquid gets pushed out and forms a web. So people are asking, how is this, what kind of cells make the silk? Is spider silk a liquid? All that. So maybe a very brief summary of how the silk is made and spun out.
So
you can just go back to your slides if you want, no problem.
Okay, so I'll share it again. So start sharing. I hope you can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. You can go to full screen.
So, so there are some, secretory cells there in the glands, obviously, and it is, when it is first produced, it is like a liquid droplet, okay, and then those droplets gets accumulated over the lumen thing. So this is like a storage sac where they gets accumulated, and over the time, the solution is pushed. Like whenever the spider wants to, build a web, or like it wants to transport, it pushes that liquid towards the duct area, and when it reaches the duct area, what happens, because of those physical and chemical, like a lot of physical and chemical, forces are acting there, and spiders, what they do, they uses their rear legs to to bring out the silk, to just exude out the silk, to pull out the silk. So during this force, the physical force and the chemical force is actually converting, it's modifying the protein structures. And because of that, the changes in this protein structure is actually what is, causing the silk the solution to get converted into a solid form. I hope like I could answer it. Like, Anna?
Yeah, okay. I think that's probably a good thing. Also, there is a nice question. Where did it go in the chat? One sec. I need my chat window now. There are too many windows I have open: Q&A, chat, and the YouTube window. There's a nice question from Abhijit, who's asking, how frequently does a spider make webs? And in the lifetime, does it just make a web and live there forever, or does it keep making new webs? Or how many webs does a spider make?
Most spiders, they build their webs even within 24 hours. They keep, like, every night they are at work, like most of the spiders are, and like they not only build new webs, some of the spiders even they repair their webs. So both things are there. So every day they need to build their webs, even though, because webs are strong, but dust falls, different particles falls in it, and that causes losing out the stickiness of that web for catching its prey. So spiders keeps on repairing its web, and if required, most of them they rebuild a new web each day within 24 hours. Yeah.
Some spiders.
Like most of the spiders.
Most spiders. Okay. All right. Okay. Pankaj is asking in YouTube, the webs are sometimes astonishingly symmetric. Why do these webs have certain particular patterns like this?
Again, a nice question, but I have no answer to that. Maybe again, do you have any answer to that?
Okay, let's go back to the questions. Okay, when spiders eat other spiders, spiders, remember you said, have these venomous sacs, etc. So is the spider venom a problem for it when it eats it?
No.
Soham's asking that.
I think obviously not. Otherwise, like, why would someone use its own web? I think no. Yeah, no. That's the answer. But yeah, I can look up into like the why factor, obviously, like why.
And how do spiders communicate with other spiders?
Oh, that's again interesting. So as far as I know, like for mating, spiders do use, some specific body movements for attracting its female mate. So I guess that is one way of communicating. That is, yeah, some dance. Like they say that in Italy, there is a story that where people there is a specific dance that is used by the people that is almost similar to the spiders in Italy, because they think that if they perform that dance, then the venom of the spider will not be that much harmful to those people. So that's a story again.
Okay. Let's see. Do spiders? What happens to spiders in very cold places? What happens when you freeze a web? Is there any problem if the web is frozen? If it's very cold?
Like spiders, they do even live in like cold areas, but do they freeze? Again, I do not have answer to that, but I'll
very good questions.
Very good questions. Yeah, like I'll look up.
Okay, why do spiders have hair all over their body? Do spiders have hair all over their body?
They do have hairs on their legs.
They're probably for sensing. The hairs on the leg, right? Probably
Maybe,
for
yeah,
sensing.
because because there is a ballooning process. Like for moving from one place to when they want to move from to a longer distances, they uses their legs to just check, like the flow of the wind in the environment. So I think yes, I think Arnav answered it.
Okay.
And also maybe to protect themselves from.
Probably not. Okay, let's see. Oh man, they're coming so many questions. It's tough to see what it is. Purvanjali wants to know how to get rid of spiders and the webs in the house. Cobwebs, I guess she means. Very practical.
Yeah, but why do you want to get rid of spiders? Because they are helping you to keep other pests away from you, right?
Yeah, so okay, Suravi says don't get rid of them. They're eating other pests, so it's okay if the spider web is there. That's one answer. Let me see if anything's in the new questions have come. So what do spiders eat the most? Most of their diet is insects, right? Other small insects.
Like it's carnivorous. So
Yeah.
other insects.
No. Fire webs and ice webs and all are pure science fiction. We are not taking questions on them right now. I mean, Spider-Man is a different. It's not yet. It's a science fiction. So there are some questions which are very interesting, but they're all okay. Yeah, so what is sort of Abhijit has a question on how do spiders fit in the overall ecosystem? I mean, yes, we are often irritated when spiders build cobwebs and we clean them out, but what role do spiders and their webs and all play in the overall environment?
So what role their webs play, that I cannot answer, but yes, they play an important role in the food chain, obviously, because as I said, most of the spiders are not harmful to the humans, but they are eating the insects. That means they're controlling the insect population very efficiently, where you do not need to put in much effort. Like they are doing this thing for you.
So do you want to just one more time tell us all the different, why do they make webs? For many different reasons, you said, right? Just go through it, because there are a couple of questions on that as well. Why do they make webs?
I'll share my screen, or
you can whatever, you can either just say it or share as
I'll just say it. Like spiders use their webs for different purposes. For most immediate one is like, for moving, for transportation, for moving from one place to another. And second is like obviously to get their food. Third is to like we build our houses, so it's like a house for them, so for their own protection, and again to lay their eggs onto it. And so these are some of the most common things for that they need a web for themselves. So like I think it's So Anab, like when do we start?
Okay, so let's see. We're wow.
We are
like at 12:08. Yeah.
12:08.
Yeah. On time, but let me just see if there are any more very interesting questions. Thank you so much for asking all these beautiful questions.
Yes,
there are a few more in the Zoom. Just hang on. Okay. Let's see if there are any good questions on the science. Yes, there's one question on artificial spider webs. Would it be possible to create branched polymer-based artificial spider silk? It might be more strong. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, people are doing a lot of experiments with artificial silk. I mean, most of these natural fibers are so complex. It's not just one protein, so it's always very difficult to do. Purvanjali is an interesting question. How does a spider, where does a spider lay an egg? Is it on the web itself?
So like, again, it depends. Like if like, as I said, some spiders do not build webs at all. So, but most of the spiders do. So they lay their egg on their webs. Obviously, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Shivans wants to know what cell makes spider silk. She just went through this twice now. I mean, it's these, the spider silk is from a liquid in a pouch where it gets pushed through various, an organ called a spinneret, and from there it goes to spigots, and then it comes out as the silk thread. Okay. Body coloration of spiders. Why are some spiders very colorful?
Again, I suppose that is part of evolution in the sense, like for attracting maybe insects, because most of the time when these animals have they have a colorful body, it is generally for either to attract its prey, or like so that's the answer, I believe.
Okay, so we are sort of 10 minutes already beyond our time, and I must thank Suravi for patiently not only telling us these lovely stories about spiders and their web and their silk, and I must thank the audience for asking these beautiful questions. Yeah. So thank you all for watching, and please do put your questions in the chat. And Suravi, can you just share the Steamboat, the last link again, our website?
Yeah, sure.
If you want to find out more, this is going to be an ongoing series. We will be coming up with more. You will find the same thing also we did a live session in English. We'll also put up this thing in Hindi and other languages in the next few weeks. And the email address is steamboat@hbcse.tifr.res.in. I will put it again in the chat as well.
I have put it at
Steamboat. I'll put it on YouTube. Steamboat at hbcse.tifr.res.in is our email, and you can always approach us there. Yeah, and remember, if you like the video, do subscribe to the channel. That way you will automatically come to know when events are happening. You can also follow us on Twitter. HBCSE_TIFR is the handle, and we can send us an email if you'd like to get a reminder about your the next upcoming sessions. Stay tuned and join the Steamboat. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.